In this video, we are going to talk about the anatomy and the physiology of the digestive system. Now, what exactly is the digestive system? Simply put, it is the system in your body that allows you to break down food, absorb nutrients, and eliminate waste. Without it, your cells would not get the energy and building blocks needed to function properly. Now, let's start with the anatomy, which is the organs and structures that make up the digestive system. And then we'll go into the physiology, or how these organs actually do their job. So, the anatomy of the digestive system. The digestive system is essentially a long muscular tube that runs from the mouth to the anus, along with accessory organs that help in digestion. We can divide it into two main parts: the alimentary canal, which is the GI tract, and the accessory organs, which are organs that produce enzymes, hormones, and other substances that aid digestion, but food doesn't pass directly through them. Now let's go through each step by step. So let's start with the mouth. Digestion begins in the mouth, and the mouth contains the teeth, which mechanically breaks down food by chewing, the tongue, which helps in mixing the food with saliva and pushing it down the throat for swallowing, and then the salivary glands, which secrete saliva, and saliva contains amylase, which are enzymes that begin the breakdown of carbohydrates into simple sugar. So note this amylase because this can be an examination question. Now, number two is the pharynx and the esophagus. So once food is chewed and mixed with saliva, it becomes a soft mass called the bolus. And the bolus travels through the pharynx and the esophagus. The pharynx, which is the throat, which connects the mouth to the esophagus, and then the esophagus are a muscular tube that transports food to the stomach through a process called peristalsis. Again, this can be an examination question. And peristalsis is simply a wave-like muscular contraction that pushes food downward towards the stomach or towards the anus. So, at the end of the esophagus is the lower esophageal sphincter, which prevents stomach acid from coming back up. Now, we all sometimes feel heartburn, and this is when this lower esophageal sphincter does not work properly. Then number three is the stomach. The stomach is a muscular J-shaped organ. Its main job is to act as a mixer and a grinder. It has strong muscular walls to churn food. It also has gastric glands that secrete hydrochloric acid and enzymes like pepsin to begin the breakdown of protein. So inside the stomach, the food is mixed with gastric juice and it is turned into a semi-liquid substance called chyme. And then this takes us to the small intestine. Chyme enters the small intestine, which is the major site for digestion and absorption. It is divided into three sections: the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. The duodenum, which is the first part where most chemical digestion takes place. It receives bile from the liver and gallbladder, and then pancreatic juice from the pancreas. Again, we have the jejunum. The jejunum is the middle part where most nutrients are absorbed. And then finally the ileum, which is the final part which absorb vitamin B12, bile salts, and all leftover nutrients. Now, in the inner surface of the small intestines are aligned with villi and microvilli, and this gently increase the surface area for absorption. So this can also be an examination question. So number five is the large intestine, also called the colon. After the small intestine, the remaining material passes into the large intestine, which is wider but also shorter. Its main role is to absorb water and electrolytes. It houses beneficial bacteria that help break down remaining materials, and it also compacts waste into feces. The large intestine has sections called the cecum, the ascending colon, the transverse colon, the descending colon, the sigmoid colon, and finally the rectum. Now this takes us to the rectum and the anus, which is number 6. The rectum stores feces until elimination, while the anus is the final opening where waste exits the body. It is controlled by both internal and external anal sphincters. So now let's talk about the accessory organs. So we have the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas. The liver produces bile, which helps to emulsify fats, so enzymes can break them more easily. and then the gallbladder stores and releases bile into the duodenum, and then the pancreas produces digestive enzymes like lipase, amylase, prostase, and it also secretes bicarbonate to neutralize the stomach acid. So that is it for the anatomy of the digestive system. Let's move over to the physiology of the digestive system. So now that we have covered the anatomy of the digestive system, let's look at how the digestive system actually works step by step. So for step 1, we have ingestion, and this is the process of taking food and drink into the mouth. Mechanical digestion starts by chewing, and then chemical digestion begins with salivary amylase breaking down starch. Then step 2 is propulsion. Food must move through the GI system, and this involves swallowing and peristalsis. For swallowing, it is the voluntary and involuntary movement of food into the esophagus, and then for peristalsis is the rhythmic muscular contraction that pushes food down the esophagus and throughout the intestines. Then for step 3 is the mechanical digestion, and this includes chewing in the mouth, churning in the stomach, and segmentation in the small intestines, where food is mixed back and forth to maximize contact with digestive enzymes. Then step 4, chemical digestion. This is where enzymes and other chemicals break down food molecules into their simplest forms. We have carbohydrates, which is broken down into simple sugars like glucose. We have protein, which is broken down into amino acids, and then we have fats, which are lipids, and they are broken down into glycerol and fatty acids. Now, enzymes from the saliva and the stomach and pancreas, and also from the small intestine, all work together to make this process happen. Then number 5 is absorption. Then step 5 is absorption. This is where nutrients enters the blood or the lymph to be delivered to the body's cells. Now, most absorption happens in the small intestine. Sugar and amino acids enter the bloodstream directly. Fats are absorbed by the lymphatic vessels called the lacteals, and then water and electrolytes are mainly absorbed in the large intestine. Then finally, we have step 6, which is defecation. Finally, the indigestible substance. So the indigestible substances, bacteria and waste products are compacted into feces and eliminated through the anus. Now let's talk about something which is rather important, the control of digestion. Digestion is actually controlled by both the nervous system and our hormones. The enteric nervous system regulates peristalsis and secretion, while hormones like gastrin, secretin, and cholecystokinin, which is CCK, controls enzyme release and bile flow. So in summary, the digestive system is made up of the GI tract and the accessory organs. Food is processed in 6 main steps: ingestion, propulsion, mechanical digestion, chemical digestion, absorption, and defecation. Now, along the way, the enzymes and secretions break down carbohydrates, protein, fats into forms that cells can easily absorb and use. And then the end goal is basically simple: to extract nutrients and energy from food and eliminate the rest. And there you have it, a complete overview of the anatomy and the physiology of the digestive system. Hopefully this video helped you to understand how these structures work, and thanks for watching. And again, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can share this video to your study group or your class group. Thanks for watching once again, and see you in the next one. Bye.